Here at the Greater Arlington Chamber of Commerce, our members always amaze me, the different types of members that we have within membership. But occasionally, we'll have someone in membership who actually has members of their own, and they're here for a greater purpose as well. Our guests today here in our member spotlight videos are Mr. Eric Tucker with the Arlington-Mansfield Greater YMCA. Welcome.
All right, good to be here, Brian.
Eric, great to see you as well.
Great to see you
too. The
too.
YMCA. Now, I grew up here in Arlington, spent a lot of time with the Y as a kid. We can talk about that later.
Yeah, sure.
But it's not the same YMCA it was when I was a kid. For example, how many locations are there now here?
Well, so in our service area, in the Arlington-Mansfield area, we've got 4 branches, as well as we're in over 50 schools, different sports fields, gyms, you name it. We're serving thousands of people every day.
Well, and people being the key word, because a lot of people back in the day, maybe not anymore, and I hope not,
yeah,
when they think of YMCA, they think of kids. It's still kids, but it's not
still
just kids.
No.
Yeah.
It's we serve. We always say, you know, from 6 weeks to checking out, you're a member of the YMCA.
So I still have a chance.
You still have a chance. And as a matter of fact, we serve thousands of seniors as well. You know, the YMCA is one of those places that, you know, and it was illustrated during COVID. They were the first folks to come back to the branches because that social interaction. I mean, the physical part is great. I know a lot of them that'll go in there. I don't know how hard they're working out, but they got their coffee in their hand and they're socializing and all of that. It's a very important community space. Yeah.
Well, and to say that the YMCA has been doing it for a long time is a bit of an understatement, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah. So, and actually, it's a great opportunity to be here today because the Y is celebrating 175 years in the United States this year, 182 worldwide. You know, we got our start in London, but and then here locally, we've been here since 1958. You know, serving the community. We really grew alongside and with the community as Arlington and Mansfield and Kennedale, as this area is just exploded in growth and opportunity.
But the Y is right there to keep up with.
The Y has been there. That's
How long
right.
have you been on board now here?
So I've been here 8 years this coming April. I've been in the Y about 30. I've served in various capacities in different parts of the country. But I tell you, when I'm asked about this community in particular, one of the things that really draw myself and my family here was just the sense of community and how accessible and eager community leaders are to really work with organizations and take an active interest in what you're doing. It's been wonderful, the community support.
Well, we do like to hear that, and we'll get to the chamber here in a second,
sure,
as far as how that has maybe impacted what goes on with the Y. But you'd mentioned how long the Y had been. You started in London, but there's still to this day a huge international initiative.
There is.
Talk to me about that.
Absolutely. So the Y is in 120 countries. And what's interesting about the Y and the reason that we've been around for so long is we continually ask the question, how can we serve the community? And so I just returned from the Y in Kenya and South Africa. And I can tell you over there, the YMCA is the public school system. It's the HIV prevention system. It's hospice care. And then it's child care and aquatics lessons and those kind of things. And so depending on where you're at really can determine what those Ys are doing. And in the case of our YMCA, what we've been able to do that we're real proud of, and I think something that makes us very different as far as the nonprofit community, is that we partner with YMCAs in different countries that have a large immigrant population here locally. And so our global engagement program, we started going to Vietnam in 2019, and it was amazing. Once we went over there and we came back, that community was so interested in, first of all, the fact that we did that, but that we learned so much and that we created ways to involve them in our YMCA branches. And so now, years later, after we've gone to Kenya and Peru and Mexico, we even go up to a reservation up in South Dakota. India is going to be new for us this coming year. We've been very proactive about learning about those cultures and communities because in the end, then they also come in and, you know, they're part of businesses, they're part of our YMCA membership, and it really brings the community together. So we've sent hundreds of people now, you know, over the past several years, and we're going to continue to do that. We have Vietnam coming up in a couple of weeks and Peru this summer, and you name it.
I think that word community, Eric, is everything, because when you're moving into a new area, a lot of times they're not familiar with it. You don't know what are these guys up to, but the first thing you're doing is embracing the community and maybe gearing what you do towards that community so it all fits together. And that has to mean the world to them and to you.
Well, I'll give you an example. One of the things when we did a community needs assessment with the Vietnamese and the Chinese, in particular the Asian population, was a need for piano lessons. And that's not something that had come up in our community needs assessments before. And so we actually brought that program in-house, and we've got 250 people every 6 weeks that are taking piano lessons at the Y from all communities, and that was something that community in particular had identified. So this just makes a lot of sense from a membership perspective as well about involving people and asking that question.
Do you see possibly that expanding into other areas? Could we take piano lessons right here in Arlington soon?
Yeah, you can actually at our youth center.
Okay.
Formerly the Central YMCA,
Yeah.
the youth performance center that we just repurposed last year. We've got piano lessons, guitar lessons. All of that's included in membership now. Hundreds, and not only kids. What we're finding is, especially mid-morning, we've got seniors that are going back to learning how to play piano again. Some first-timers with guitar. You name it. And, those are the kind of activities that really keep your mind sharp. For kids, say if you can learn how to play piano, then you're going to do better at math. Those are all things that have been statistically proven. And so I wouldn't say we have all the magic and all the knowledge, but when we ask people what they want and we deliver, that's the secret sauce right there.
Talk to me about the changes. You touched on it. Let's go into a little bit the changes at the central location.
Yes.
We had a big ribbon cutting event there last year here with the chamber as part of that.
Mm-hmm.
But how has that been received? Are people just ecstatic?
They are ecstatic. We've had a lot of contributed support. That's always a good indicator.
Absolutely.
People get behind something like that. Really what we found, with our membership is that there was one reason that family or household members would leave the Y, and that was because there were waiting lists for these youth programs, like not only piano guitar lessons, but all of our dance and martial arts, our STEM programs. We have esports, we have robotics, we've got drone workshops. These are all included in membership. Well, when you do that, of course, you're going to have literally thousands of people enrolled in these programs. And so we're kind of calling Central in some ways, the new youth center, our reliever hub for the other branches that have had such huge turnout in these programs. And so very beneficial for that. And then we're also partnering with UTA, STEM It Up Sports, other organizations that are very focused on youth development, coaching, literacy, those kind of things, because we know that in Central Arlington, a lot of these zip codes are what you would consider high risk. And so what we've really tried to do at Central as well is we're serving more AISD schools than we ever have in the Central Corridor, because we're bringing buses and vans, we're picking them up at the schools, we're bringing them to the Central Y. And so when you visit Central Youth Performance Center now, you'll see hundreds of kids there after school, in the after school program, that otherwise wouldn't be able to afford the program. And we know that kids get into the most trouble when parents aren't home yet after school. So
Idle hands.
yes, that's right, idle hands.
Do you run into situations where someone, there's so much stuff going on anyway, but someone enrolls to learn because they're really into this, and they're like, wait a minute, you got that? And then all of a sudden they came in for this and then realized now they're exposed to something they never thought they'd be near. Drones came to mind.
Yes, that happens a lot.
Yeah.
Drones certainly being one. And especially for the members that are, routinely in and out of the facilities. We've got over 40,000 people that are in and out of our branches every month. And so you can imagine what that's like per day. Sometimes they might be coming in for a basketball game, but then, as you're saying, they're seeing, our swim lessons at our South branch, or they're seeing our new ceramics program that's going, all those kind of things. There really is something for everybody at the Y.
There truly is something for everyone. For the community. So we talk about everything the Y can do for the community.
Sure.
What can the community do for the Y? Join is one thing. There are other ways the community can help out?
Well, I think one of the things that the Y does really well in service to others is inviting everybody to be part of the Y. We are an organization. We say that we're for all in the community, but sometimes people don't always know that, or they don't understand the resources that we may have. And so we ask for people in the know, like yourself, people that are in the chamber and other community organizations, to help point people in that direction. One of the big areas that we focus on here at RY2 is chronic disease prevention programs. And so physicians will help us with referrals, counselors help us with referrals for our group bereavement care workshops and different things we do. We do everything from diabetes prevention to smoking cessation, Live Strong, blood pressure monitoring. We do all of these things, oftentimes in partner with the CDC and Medicare. It's just helping bring people in is one of the best things that the community can do. And of course, participating in all of our sports programs and after school and all of that's great too.
You know, we mentioned it earlier, but this is not the same Y I used to go to as a kid. I had great memories,
Yeah.
and I did a lot of stuff, but nothing on the level that you guys offer now. I can only imagine what the future holds. Is there anything in the works you can let us know about? Or
Yeah, absolutely. And so, as I mentioned, we've been growing with the community. And so some of the changes that we made in the last year, of course, were around Central. The way what we include with membership has grown exponentially, and we've really diversified those offerings. We're also looking to expand into Kennedale, grow our presence in Mansfield, and of course in Arlington, where we can as well. Wherever we have partners, we like to say we're a partnership organization. I think last check we had 114 different organizations that we work with. Of course, the Chamber being one of those that help advocate for the YMCA and building the community. That's particularly important as we grow, because most of the growth that we've had have been in partnership with another organization. Could be a school district, it could be a hospital. We do quite a bit with Texas Health Mansfield now, Cook's Hospital. It really just depends on what other organizations are trying to do as well.
You keep mentioning all the support you receive, and you've already answered a question before I asked it, but I got to ask it anyway.
Sure.
You're very active with the Chamber. Yeah. The people with the Y, everybody knows the Y, obviously. But your membership here at the Y, you've recently, not that long ago, you cranked it up a bit, and you're now an investor in the Y.
Absolutely.
Why did you feel that is important, and what do you think is the number one thing that your membership in the Chamber has to contribute to the overall success?
Yeah, we appreciate all that y'all do to bring attention to the business community. You've been at a few ribbon cuttings, I think, over the years. All of those are great. I think the biggest reason that we want to be part of the Chamber, and it sometimes people think, well, it's all about networking and getting to know other business leaders. Absolutely, that's a big part of it. But there are a lot of best practices that come when you're part of an organization like the Chamber. The YMCA, even though we're a nonprofit organization, we're also a business in the end too. We have to work both sides of the ledger. We have a lot of the same issues that other companies may have around, finding qualified staff and keeping your work sites and everything safe. So there's a lot of commonalities from that standpoint too. And so networking within that sphere is really important in an organization like the Y. And then you've had your nonprofit forums. You've had nonprofit events where we've been able to interact with others that ultimately, in the end, and there's no shortage in our community of people wanting to do good and organizations that want to do that. The Chamber's done a really good job of bringing a lot of those folks together.
Okay, we appreciate that, and you're one of the nearly 150 nonprofit members here at the Greater Arlington Chamber of Commerce. That's it for today, Eric. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much.
Again, that's Eric Tucker with the Arlington-Mansfield Area YMCA. You heard everything he had to say, and you understand that he understands that together we succeed. That's the big thing we do here. Thanks for being with us. Take care.